your mixed media basics for you today. Now let's get started with talking about a journal or just doing it on your layouts. Now you can take any journal that you have. You can take a 5x7 like sketchbook journal. This is sketchbook paper, and color this up. This is available at Michael's. You can use the Dilutions one. This is a very famous one. This is the larger like 9x12 version. It's found at Hobby Lobby and Michael's. This one is made of like cardstock manila paper that holds up really well to all of your media. This one takes a beating. You can layer it on these pages and get great artwork, okay? They'll take your inks, your modeling paste, anything that you want. Ones that you've seen in the stores plenty are the Canson books. This one's spiral bound. They also have them in Strathmore. This one is particular mixed media paper, but it also can be done on any paper you want. Drawing paper, sketch paper, they have watercolor paper. Just choose something, and if it's in a book bound journal, that's great too, but at least it's some place to start. Okay, so do choose your paper, journal, or what have you to get started. Next, you're going to need gesso, white gesso or clear gesso. Now, I don't believe in spending a lot of money on gesso. I've tried plenty and I really don't see a difference. Gesso is G-E-S-S-O. It's your primer. White gesso will obviously mute down any colors in the background paper, where clear gesso, the color will still shine through. Now, gesso can be found by Golden, Liquitex. This one is Artist Loft. This one is found for like $8 at Michael's. I use this one the most, and I still have some, and this one I've had all year. Clear gesso is going to be like your additive. Start here, buy white gesso. Clear, get later on once you've started playing, but all you need to get started is clear gesso, okay? Next, you're going to need some modeling paste. Modeling paste is used to add texture to a page. It's also great to use through stencils, okay? Now, there are, again, many out there, but don't spend a lot of money. Artist Loft, once again, has a great range of modeling paste. I've brought 3 or 4 tubes. I've gone through this one enough. This one does come out like toothpaste. It is true white, and it does take color very well to add color to it. Now, there are other versions. You've seen me use the Ranger texture paste. This one works great. It has a more whipped consistency. And then there is also, I like the Golden light modeling paste. Again, a whipped, very fluffy consistency, whereas this modeling paste in the tube truly does come out like a toothpaste, okay? But don't have to spend a lot of money. Start here, see if you like it, then experiment with other brands, okay? This is where I started, and I still buy this all the time as soon as I'm out. So modeling paste is your third requirement. Next thing on my list is what we call gel medium. Once again, spend little money. This one also again is by Artist Loft. It literally says gel medium on the tube. Gel medium is like our glue. It's for like doing decoupage with. There are multiple other ones out there like Mod Podge, Collage Podge. This one, same thing. It's to adhere paper to paper and really seal that surface. This one is where I started and I've gotten the most use out of, but when you want to spend a little bit more money, I will recommend the Dina Wakley gel medium. This one applies tissue paper very, very smooth and flat. Now, don't get me wrong. If you want the texture of like tissue paper on your layouts or in your journals, this one's fine to stay at. But if you do want a smoother surface with adding tissue paper to your paper projects, this one by Dina Wakley is where I'll invest a little bit more money, okay? So those are the two for gel medium. It's the glue in essence in our world, but let alone being glue, it just seals it all down so that it's not buckling or warped or anything can get underneath it once you put it down with gel medium. Okay, and it does come in a matte finish as well as glossy finish. These, for instance, this one's gloss and then this one is matte. Okay, so they're 2 different ways, 2 different finishes. But start with one, and again, see how often you use it. Next, you're going to want to get some stencils. I have a huge array of stencils. Now, these are just some. These are all in like the 6x6 size, and I do also have plenty of 12x12. What you're going to use the stencils for are things like your paints can be used on here, mists can be used on here, your modeling paste can go through here. You want to get some classic pattern ones that you know you'll use over and over. Like for me, I'm a sucker for anything floral. Can you even see that? Florals. A good polka dot is always nice to have, or something with circles. I have plenty of like triangle ones, and they do get stained and they do get loved, and that's okay. You've seen plenty of these in hauls. This one's by Prima as well. It's a little bit of a floral motif, but you do want to get a few stencils for your collection, and as you love this, as you start to love mixed media, your collection will grow. So don't think you get to all of these and all the ones that I have sitting on my floor overnight. These are small investments. You know, I don't pay more than $3 or $4, maybe $5, maybe $6 if it's something that I really want to get my hands on, but they are found at local craft stores and plenty of them online. Now, to add color to your page, you know that I tend to reach for my watercolor set most of the time. This one is 36 colors, I believe. This one is again from Artist Lock. It's at Michael's, and this is only $5. I use this for pretty much every layout. You see plenty of YouTubers use it, and you even see Amy Tangerine will like photograph her quotes and such with this in photos. So it's a great starter set. It gets great pigmentation. It's a great way to add color to your mixed media layouts. Another inexpensive option is inexpensive acrylic craft paint found at the stores. Here are a few brands that I do love and use a lot of. One being Apple Barrel by Plaid. This one is Americana. This one is Crema Coat. That one's new to me, as well as Craft Smart. Okay, these are great because A, they'll give you enough color and pigmentation. Some of them can be a little bit transparent, but that's okay. And these can be watered down and create more of a watercolor wash as well. The great thing about them as well is their price point. They're about $1. So you can go get Roy G. Biv, however many letters that is, what, for $10, and have plenty of color to get started. You can add this to your modeling paste. You can use these with your stencils. You can water these down and get a watercolor look. Acrylic paints are great to start off with. Now, if you want to invest in a little bit more money into your collection, I will say that mists are super fun. Now, you know the good old-fashioned Heidi Shine. These are the ones that I use all the time. The Gold Lame is the most popular. This one is called Sweet Cherry. All right, those are Heidi Shine. Other favorites of mine are the Dilution ones. So you've seen me, these are vibrant as heck. So pigmented, you know I love them, and this one's my favorite. It's called Bubblegum Pink. You also see distress stains. These are great. They come in a multitude of colors, and these are reactant with water. So that means anytime you use these and you bring more wet medium around, these will move again. That's what reactive to water means. And then you've seen me use also plenty of times are my Lindy Stamp Gang ones. These are a vast range of colors. For me, I'm a pink and blue and mint kind of girl, so a majority of my collection is that. These come in a lot of finishes, flat, shimmery, gold, shimmer, all of them together, but they're great. I love mists. This is probably where I have maybe, along with the acrylic paint, buy the most, because I can do so much with these. It's just great because you can spray directly through the stencil and get a background with mists. Okay, you can then go back and add modeling paste with the same color or something like that, and that's what I love the most about them, is that they can use either straight from the bottle. You can take out the wand, add splatters. You can mix these with the modeling paste to color the modeling paste. They're really, really fun. Other fun things to play with are things like you've seen me do with gelatos. A lot of people are using these. These look like crayons in the tubes. They're like almost like a waxy kind of formation. They react with water. You can put some in with your modeling paste. You can scribble this down and then water it down and get a nice wash. So gelatos are really fun. Again, found at your local craft store as well. These are little, like, I think $10 packs, and they do come with bigger sets. A few random things that you'll definitely need. Get a mister. A mister is great to water down anything, and it's funny how you would think you don't need it, but there's plenty of times I reach for it just to wet down something or to do the packaging technique. I got this one from the dollar store. Don't have to spend a lot of money on a mister. Get yourself a few gift cards. This is where I started, where you want to apply a thin layer of gesso to the page. You can use this to scrape through the modeling paste over a stencil. You can use this to do just about anything. Once you've graduated, if you want to say, from doing gift cards, you can definitely get yourself a pack of palette knives. The palette knives are great. I use them all the time. You'll have more control. I definitely love this one the most. I have bought this one in kind of like a metal one rather than just being plastic, but who cares? They are inexpensive and you can beat them to hell and they won't be, you won't, you know, be hurt by using them so much. Okay. You do want to get yourself some inexpensive paint brushes. I use the flat paddle brush to apply gesso, the gesso or gel medium to a page. This one definitely works for applying a lot of the gel medium. And then I like what they call the rounded tip ones. Can you see those? Rounded tip brushes. These are great for doing lettering. These I do all the time for my watercolors. These get more precise, and these can also be loaded up and do paint splatter with them, and they get you the variety of splatter droplets with the round ones. So inexpensive round brushes or paint brushes is also a necessity. A few other random things you want to get, probably a heat gun. This one is an embossing gun per se, but as long as you keep the motion on the page, this will do just fine. You never want to keep direct contact with your artwork because since it is a heat gun, the concentrated amount of heat will warp and buckle your page. So as long as you keep it moving, it'll be fine. But don't get me wrong, you don't need this. You can use a very small hair dryer for all your art projects and it'll do just as well, okay? Next thing that you'll need, and it's not going to break the bank, is what we call the craft mat. This is like a non-stick plastic Teflon surface that you can use as your palette underneath your work. You can apply your modeling paste straight on here, your paint straight on here, so it almost acts like your palette and you're good to go. Cleanup is with the baby wipe and you are totally fine. So that's your craft mat. Okay, that will be another miscellaneous one that you'll need. Now let's talk about some stamps. You're going to want to start off with a few what I call background stamps to get you started. Now this one is what we call wood mounted, and then we also have what we call a cling stamp. Cling stamps simply mean that you're going to need some sort of acrylic block in order to kind of stick it to. Obviously this one doesn't fit this one. In order to have a smooth surface, in order to have even pressure when you stick it down. But don't get me wrong, just because it's a bendable stamp, you can also use it like that. I'll ink it up and then put just portions of it on a layout and it's just fine. This one is kind of like a Zentangle background. I also have one to show you like these music lyrics. They just add texture and depth to your background pages and it gives super cool effects. There are plenty of cling stamps out there. These are like some Dina Wakley ones, which are all just adding more texture. You can completely get shapes for them. These are just some butterflies, or even get yourself a set of alphas because these will work on your photos as well as any backgrounds for titles or quotes that you want to put on your page. So do get some stamps for your collection as well. If you're getting stamps, you're also going to need to get some ink pads. Now to start off, the major one that you need will be your black Stays-On ink. Stays-On ink will apply to any surface at any point. This also will stamp onto photos. It works on glossy surfaces as well, but Stays-On black is a staple in my collection. Another staple would be a white ink pad. This one's by Brilliant. It's called Moonlight White. Again, same thing as the Stays-On ink, and it also stamps onto your photo surfaces as well. Then when you're doing complete mixed media, you're going to always want to look out for what they call archival ink. This one's by Ranger. They have tons of colors. I have plenty in my collection, but archival ink will just stamp on anything that you've done. Watercolor, paint, modeling paste, gessoed paper, it will stamp on. Unlike some of them, because dyes and pigments, they're all a little different. They'll stamp, but not as crisp as what an archival one will do. And then a fun one to have later on down the road when you get into mixed media are the distressed ink pads. These are react with water, but they get really cool effects. There's nothing on the market quite like the Distress line, simply because of that. And they come in tons and tons of colors too. Keep that in mind. Okay, that wraps it up for me. I think those supplies right there will get you started in mixed media just fine. Now remember, you got to pick out the paper or a journal or do them on your layouts. Get yourself some gesso, some gel medium, modeling paste, color. So watercolors, acrylic paints, gelatos, mists, whatever you want to do as far as color. get a few paint brushes, get yourself some stencils, some stamps, and good ink pads for those stamps, and you should be good to go. It's super fun, and there's no limit or rules in mixed media. As long as you're using more than one media on your page, it's considered mixed media. So think about it. If you put gesso on the page and prime it up, if you use a stencil with some modeling paste and you throw in a little bit of acrylic paint to color that modeling paste, then you go in and add a watercolor wash in the background, you go in and add some texture with some stamping and some ink pads, you're already using a multitude of mediums and hence being called mixed media. It's just super fun, and I really hope you give it a try. There are plenty of other inspirational YouTubers out there that do this fun, art as well. And I've been lucky just to incorporate it into my scrapbook layout. So really it's like the best of both worlds, because my journals are always super fun, but when you get to combine them onto your layouts, it really just makes the best for me. Then I guess that's what I really would call my style right now. It's like my art journal meets my scrapbook, and they just mush together, and now I have my mixed media scrapbook layouts all the time. So that's just what we love and what we do. So I hope this gets you started a little bit on the key things that you need to get. But remember, you don't have to spend a lot of money, okay? So don't break the bank doing this. It's just to get you started, all right? Till next time, and if you have any requests for me, leave them down below. And like I said earlier too, I will remember to leave as many links as I can to the products I've mentioned. But if there is anything else that you want to see from me, by all means, I am super excited to do that for you. Just always want to give you what you want to watch. All right, please subscribe if you haven't done so, and give this video a thumbs up. I'll appreciate it. Bye, everyone.